Albert Camus introduces us to Meursault, a man whose indifference to societal norms becomes an existential statement. Upon receiving the news of his mother's death, Meursault exhibits no grief, choosing instead to navigate life. He navigates with a chilling, detached honesty that deeply unsettles those who surround him in his world. Whether he is watching a comedy film the day after a funeral, he refuses to perform emotions. He's a stubborn rebel. His lack of love for his fiancée further highlights his refusal to participate in common social rituals. This refusal culminates in a senseless murder on a sun-drenched beach, where the light blinds his eyes. He blames the oppressive heat of the afternoon sun rather than any internal malice for his actions. Meursault is not merely judged for his crime, but for his failure to participate in collective delusions. He stands as a mirror to our own modern lives, where we are pressured to perform emotions. We are often pressured to perform feelings we do not truly feel in our daily, mundane lives. This highlights the terrifying silence of an indifferent universe that refuses to answer our desperate human cries. He walks through the city streets, observing the world with a gaze that lacks any moral judgment. The people around him whisper about his coldness, yet he remains unmoved by their petty, social concerns. The sun beats down upon the pavement, reflecting the harsh, unforgiving nature of his own internal state. He does not seek redemption, nor does he seek the approval of the neighbors who watch him. His existence is a quiet, persistent protest against the expectations placed upon him by a rigid society. Every interaction he has feels like a performance he is unwilling to give, a script he rejects. When he stands before the authorities, his honesty is perceived as a threat to their established order. They demand tears. They demand remorse. But he offers only the simple truth of his own experience. The courtroom becomes a stage where he is forced to act. Yet he remains stubbornly, dangerously silent. He watches the judge with the same detachment he felt while watching the comedy at the cinema. The absurdity of the trial mirrors the absurdity of the life he has led until this moment. He understands that his fate is sealed, not by his actions, but by his refusal to lie. The universe remains silent, offering no guidance or comfort to a man who has rejected its illusions. He finds a strange peace in this realization, a clarity that others perceive as a final madness. The heat of the beach returns to his memory, a blinding white light that erased all meaning. He remembers the trigger, the sound of the shot, and the sudden, overwhelming weight of the silence. There was no grand purpose to his crime, only the physical reality of the sun and sand. Society cannot comprehend a man who refuses to invent a reason for his own dark, violent deeds. They want a narrative, a tragedy, or a villain, but he offers them only a blank space. His indifference is the ultimate rebellion against a world that demands we always assign meaning to life. He sits in his cell, listening to the sounds of the city, feeling connected to the indifference. The walls of the prison are no different than the walls of his apartment or the world. He has stripped away the masks, leaving only the raw, exposed nerves of a man truly alive. The pressure to conform is a weight he has finally shaken off, leaving him light and free. He does not fear the end, for he has never truly feared the beginning of his life. The absurdity of his existence is the only truth he has ever known or cared to know. He watches a fly crawl across the wall, finding it as significant as the trial outside doors. Everything is equal in the face of the vast, uncaring expanse of the stars above the prison. He closes his eyes, feeling the warmth of the light, and accepts the silence of the world. The trial continues without him, a hollow ritual performed by men who are afraid of the dark. He is the only one who is truly awake in a world of sleepwalkers and dreamers today. His life was a series of moments, unconnected by purpose, yet vibrant in their own stark reality. He refuses to repent. For repentance would imply that he regrets being exactly who he really is. The judge speaks of morality, but Mursal hears only the empty sound of wind through the trees. He is a stranger to them, but he is finally at home within his own quiet, honest mind. The sun sets, casting long shadows across the floor, marking the passage of another day of life. He waits for the end, not with dread, but with the curiosity of a man watching a sunset. The absurdity of the world is his companion, a constant reminder that nothing is ever truly fixed. He has lived without illusions, and he will die without the comfort of a false, final hope. This is his rebellion, a quiet, internal victory over the forces that seek to define his soul. He is the master of his own indifference, a king of a kingdom that no one understands. The silence of the universe is not a burden, but a canvas upon which he paints truth. He breathes in the air, tasting the dust and the freedom of a life lived without regret. The world outside continues its frantic search for meaning, while he rests in the simple, cold fact. He is Mursault, the man who refused to play the game, and in doing so, won everything. The final moments approach, and he welcomes them as he welcomed the heat on the golden beach. There is no more to say, no more to do. Only the experience of being in existence. He stands ready for the end, a man who has finally found his place in the universe. As the finality of his execution looms, Mursal finds himself standing at the threshold of clarity. The cold stone walls of his cell no longer feel like a cage for his weary spirit. Instead, they reflect the stark, unyielding reality of a life stripped of all its social masks. He contemplates his impending end, mirroring the eternal, repetitive struggle of the legendary Sisyphus in exile. The chaplain enters, offering the hollow comfort of religious salvation and the promise of divine mercy. Mursal rejects these offerings with a quiet, firm resolve that leaves the holy man visibly shaken. He refuses to trade his honest, brutal reality for the comforting illusions of a future salvation. This rejection is not a descent into the dark, empty void of a meaningless, nihilistic despair. It is, in truth, an act of ultimate rebellion against the expectations of a judging world. He realizes that the universe is as indifferent to his fate as he was to others. In that profound realization, he discovers a strange, absolute freedom that transcends his physical prison walls. Camus argues that life is not about finding a grand, transcendent meaning in the cosmic dark. It is about living with intense, burning passion in the fleeting, fragile beauty of the present. By stripping away the heavy illusions of the past and the false promises of the future, Mursal emerges as a powerful, enduring symbol of what Camus defines as the ethics of quantity. He teaches us that even in the face of an inevitable, cold, and silent final end, the act of living with full, unblinking awareness is the most defiant response to the world. It is a beautiful, singular rebellion against the crushing weight of an inherently absurd human existence. The silence of the universe no longer feels like a terrifying, cold judgment upon his soul. It is simply the natural state of things, a canvas upon which he paints his truth. He closes his eyes, feeling the warmth of the sun that once betrayed him on beach. There is no malice left in his heart, only a deep, quiet acceptance of his fate. The world he leaves behind continues its frantic, meaningless dance, oblivious to his final, silent victory. He has successfully navigated the labyrinth of human expectations and emerged entirely, perfectly, and truly himself. His life, once dismissed as a series of senseless actions, now stands as a defiant monument. He has embraced the absurdity, and in doing so, he has finally become entirely, wonderfully free. The guards approach the door, their heavy footsteps echoing against the cold floor of the corridor. Mersal stands up, his movements fluid and calm, showing no trace of fear or regret. He is ready to meet the void with the same detached honesty he lived his life. The light filtering through the high window catches the dust motes dancing in the stagnant air. He watches them, finding a simple, profound joy in their aimless, beautiful, and chaotic movement. This is the essence of his rebellion: to find meaning where others see only empty space. He steps forward, leaving behind the man he was and embracing the man he has become. The door swings open, revealing the harsh, bright light of the morning sun waiting outside. He walks toward it not as a victim of justice, but as a master of himself. The world demands he weep, but he chooses to smile at the indifference of the sky. His journey concludes here, not with a plea for mercy, but with a quiet, final affirmation. He has lived, he has felt, and he has understood the nature of his own existence. The absurdity of the world is no longer a burden, but a liberation of the spirit. He steps into the light, fully aware, fully present, and entirely at peace with the end. The universe remains silent, yet he feels a strange, deep connection to the vast, empty stars. He is the architect of his own meaning, carved from the stone of his own life. No priest, no judge, and no society can take away the clarity he has finally achieved. He is a man who looked into the abyss and found only his own reflection staring. And in that reflection, he found the strength to stand tall against the coming dark. The path ahead is short, but he walks it with the grace of a free man. Every step is a conscious choice, a testament to his refusal to play the game. He breathes in the air, tasting the salt of the sea and the dust of earth. It is enough to have existed, to have felt the sun, and to have been. The guards stop, their faces masks of confusion at his strange, serene, and calm demeanor. He does not look at them, for they are merely players in a script he rejects. He looks toward the horizon, where the sky meets the sea in a seamless blue line. The world is vast, indifferent, and beautiful, and he is a part of its mystery. He closes his eyes one last time, savoring the sensation of being alive and aware. There is no fear, only the anticipation of the final, quiet release into the great unknown. He has won his battle, not by changing the world, but by changing his own perspective. The absurdity is conquered by the simple, powerful act of living with full, open eyes. He is ready for the end, and in his readiness, he finds his ultimate, final peace. The sun shines down, indifferent and bright, as he takes his final, defiant, free step. Mersal is gone, but his rebellion remains, a beacon for all who seek the truth.